I'm really interested in the whole global ESG strategy that Flight Centre has and whether you have localised that as well, given that different countries have obviously different regulations to be thinking about.
Yeah, great question. So I'm actually on the sustainability board as well of Flight Centre Travel Group. And whilst we've tried to globalize it, we've realized there's local nuances. So Michelle Dagenhart is our lead in that space. We've got a fantastic program. Actually, the Flight Centre brands actually moved the dial quite significantly. 2 years ago, we had an idea in a boardroom to repackage our Captain's Pack. And our Captain's Pack is really a service offering. And within that service offering, one of our country GMs in Canada said, how about us planting a tree? And I'll expand on the conversation. And we said, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Let's plant 1, 2, 3 trees, depending on what Captain's Pack you purchase as a customer. We did that, and we didn't think too much about it. 18 months later, we landed up committing to 1.3 million trees, of which...
yes, that's a clap. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
800,000 of which were planted in Morocco. We had talk about culture, we had a global ball up in Lisbon in July. We had 3,000 flighties coming up to Lisbon for a global ball. On our way there, we actually stopped off in Morocco and we actually went to go and see the fruits of our labor, so to speak. And 800,000 olive trees, which is a tree, and we go, amazing. The social impact of that tree on the local community, mind-blowing. I even get goosebumps thinking about it. Like your women's cooperatives, infrastructure in around these olive plantations now, we're planting olive trees, astounding. You're sitting down with businesswomen that are saying, thanks to this initiative, this is what I've started to do. I'm financially on my own. So with that commitment, we'll continue with the program. Our next commitment is to another 1 million trees for this next financial year, which will take us up to, say, 2.5 million. But again, it's the idea from a boardroom, and this is a story I tell. That idea, you didn't think too much about it. And generally in business, you never get to speak, you never get to see the fruits of anyone's decision in business. In this instance, you did, and it was very humbling. We're creating a bit of a following. We're creating a bit of something new. What we also realize is Flight Centre, we're a mass generalist brand, and we've got scale. So again, if you have an idea, you have an initiative, give it a go. That's the Flight Centre way. Give it a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If we planted 10 trees, I wouldn't be telling you the story. But we planted 1.3 million trees. I'm telling you the story, and it has a profound impact. So scale is also something very, very powerful and special if you get it right.
It also inspires others to have a go at something. So it's much appreciated. Go for it.
G'day. Thanks, Andrew. Brendan from Precision Capital. I suppose in society today, we're all working harder, smarter, faster, expecting a lot of our people, expecting a lot of our leadership, like particularly in times of crisis. So I'd be interested to know, like, how do you look after your sort of mental fitness, particularly, during times like that, to make sure that you're sort of functioning at a really high level?
Yeah, great question. And I thought about that this morning on my 10K run, by the way. I thought, I better do something in case they ask. Make time for yourself. Self-empowerment, enrichment, all those things. I've got a business coach that I work with. I take personal pride in being active. I've got 3 young kids. There's no choice with that either. It's discipline. And as you're getting older, it becomes a little bit more difficult every year when you say, I'm going to go for this 10K run, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think it's just making time. It's being very mindful of making time for yourself. So, the business coach thing was meeting Matt and Andre and these guys. I'm new to Brisbane and new to Australia, and finding new circles and speaking to people. And, most successful leaders do have other people they can lean on outside of an organization. Very powerful, because they give you, you ask your wife one thing or your partner one thing. This is very powerful. The fact that we talk about work-life balance in Flight Centre a lot. We do. We've got a health-wise department. We've got a gym on premises. We play touch footy on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Anyone wants to come down to Musgrave Park On Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 o'clock, we play some touch footy. So we very much, we do promote that. So I suppose just be mindful, make time for yourself, and balance is very, very important, particularly I find in global roles. And I particularly find coming out of the pandemic as well, because our hours of operation haven't gone back to normal. They're now extended. You're always on. So a good example of that is when I go on holiday, I turn my phone off. I actually turn my phone off. And a lot of people say, I can't believe you turn your phone off. I say, yeah, I can turn my phone off because you've got a good team around you. If something really goes wrong, they can phone Kirsten and then Kirsten can answer and let me know. But it's just, you've got to make those bold and brave decisions and make time for yourself. Very, very important.
Great question. Fantastic answer. Again, very relevant in the room.
Your Flight Centre is quite large as a business, and it'll be larger than most of the businesses in this room. So I'd just like to ask you for 2 points, because I see mixing with the community world that there's people struggling, there's people doing all right. So it's nearly a multi-tiered industry out there. So what would be your 2 top hints for all the people in the room here to take away today to make a difference in their business?
Thanks for a very difficult question.
No, it's the last one as well. Bloody hell.
It's a good one, eh? That was good.
Thank you. I go to Family Village Tribe, which is our culture. So there's a book on it, Family Village Tribe, where we basically break the organization up into a family and a village and a tribe. So simple. And it goes back to, us thousands of years, which works very well for us. So as much as I'm sitting here representing Flight Centre, the brand, 6.5 billion of that 22 billion, I break that back down to geographies, I break that down to areas, I break it down to nations, areas, teams. Our small Flight Centre Bulimba is a good example. It's a small little business. It just happens to have a global brand name. So we break everything down. And I think if you break it down into bite-sized chunks, people understand. And we call it the WIFM, what's in it for me. No one really, the Flight Centre Bulimba team leader, Sam, who I actually know well, Sam doesn't care what Flight Centre's brand's global targets are. It means nothing to him. But what he will care about is what Flight Centre Bulimba is going to do this month and this next year. So we try to break it down, which I think has worked well for us as a global business. And I know we've got some ex-flighties here that are shaking their head in support of my answer. Yeah, I think we break it down. Family Village Tribe, nodding. And I think that's worked well for us. And just keep things simple. That's the best advice we give everyone.
A coach once said to me, if business is a plane, you have to fly by looking at all the gauges, not just the fuel gauge or cash flow, whatever. And I absolutely love how you today have been able to, you clearly got your eyes on all the gauges. You're able to go into the detail and then come account and talk globally. So congratulations. It's really admirable. Well done, mate. Congratulations.